Yo friends, welcome to Next Level Consciousness with Linnea Stella. Today we're gonna talk about a super fascinating topic, as always, namely core wounds. So when I first heard about core wounds, I thought, well, why care about core wounds? It's just something in the back of my mind and I can look at them in a couple of years from now. But the truth is the polar opposite of that. The truth is that your core wounds are running your life right now. You are watching this very video through the lens of your core wounds. You are manifesting, creating your reality through the lens of your core wounds. And that means that if that lens is dirty, if you have a lot of core wounds, you will miss out on a lot of the richness and magic of life. But let's not be that dystopic now in the beginning. Let's start by looking at what is core wounds. And then we'll also, of course, look at a solution for how to heal your core wounds, because that's why you're here. Because there is always a solution. So, core wounds are our deepest seated limiting beliefs that we often acquire in childhood. And the way that we acquire them, well, let's have a look at the human mind. So maybe you have heard about this before, that if this iceberg is your whole mind, like all the mental power that you have as a human being, your conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg. It's 5%, the 5% that you see, that you are aware of. Under the sea surface is your subconscious mind, which is 95% of your mind. This is something a little dark, a little mysterious, a little magical. And it's not just a container for core wounds, it's also a container for all your automatic programs. For example, if you are riding a bike and you know how to ride a bike, if you're brushing your teeth, you probably do it quite automatically because you have learned how to do it. It is a program in your subconscious mind. So subconscious programs can actually be positive. Because imagine how much unnecessary energy you would waste if every time you brush your teeth you needed to think about every little movement. No, that's something automatic. But the subconscious mind also makes things automatic that are not really helpful. Because remember that the mind always wants to keep you safe. That is the job of the mind. And that is the interesting duality of being a human. Because we have the mind that wants to keep us safe, that wants to keep us in the comfort zone. And we have the soul that wants to expand. And learning how to master the two, how to get out of this comfort zone and step into your soul purpose. That is really what life is all about. And an easy way to explain the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind is that if you want something, it is in the conscious mind. Oh, I want to start to go to the gym every week. Every week is maybe not a lot. 5 times a week. And in the subconscious mind, you believe that it's not possible. You believe that you are not a gym kind of person, or you actually don't want it on a subconscious level in some way. Guess what is gonna win? Your conscious desire to go to the gym 5 times a week, or your subconscious belief that it's not possible for you. Of course, the subconscious wins. And that is why people don't keep the New Year's resolutions, because they have so much in the subconscious that is going against the very New Year's resolution. So really, the mastery of life, the mastery of your time, your attention, your success, it all comes from mastering the subconscious first. And in particular, as we're gonna see today, it all starts with healing your core wounds. So the difference between core wounds and limiting beliefs, well, core wounds are a type of limiting beliefs. They are just the roots of limiting beliefs, while the other limiting beliefs are branches. So of course it's more efficient to pinpoint and pull up the roots than to just cut off a branch. And why core wounds affect our whole life experience, I'm gonna show you, is because your core wounds are a type of beliefs. So this is why I call the cycle of life, the circle of life. Core wounds are a type of beliefs, and beliefs affect your thoughts, your emotions, which both affect your actions and decisions. Because you are not just taking actions randomly, they come from somewhere. And research has shown that even if you don't consider yourself an emotional person, all our decisions are actually determined by emotions. But the emotion and the thought are what comes before the action, and they both stem from your beliefs. Core wounds are a type of beliefs. So there are 22 core wounds in total, and some of the common ones are: I am unworthy, I am unsafe, I am not good enough, there is something wrong with me. And you may or may not be aware of them, because remember, they live in your subconscious mind. But you can make the subconscious conscious by self-discovery and by personal development. That's basically what we do in personal development. We align the subconscious with the conscious. And that is also how we can feel like we are in flow, in alignment, and that we can much, much easier reach our goals and manifest our dreams, because then both of these are pointing in the same direction. So your beliefs and your core wounds are there, affecting your every thought and emotion, whether or not you are aware of them. So let's say that you feel, for example, that I am unworthy. You have the core wound, I am unworthy. Then you are gonna feel emotions that are probably pretty low in frequency, because it doesn't feel good to feel unworthy. And you're gonna think thoughts like, but this person, if we look at in love and romance, for example, this person can't want me, they can't want to be with someone like me, or I don't get to be with a person like them. So if we are in a situation that you are at the gym, for example, and you spot a cute person and they smile at you, but you have the deep belief that I am unworthy, do you think that you will walk up to them and strike a conversation, which is the action? No. Because your emotions are that you feel defeated or you feel hopelessness. And your thoughts are they don't want to talk to me anyhow, so why try? So no, you're not going to take the action that might bring you into what you actually want. What you want, because you wanted to talk to them consciously, but your subconscious said you are not worthy, don't even try. And of course, the subconscious wins because it's 95%. So you see how core wounds are affecting our lives at all times. And you can probably think of some other situations. If you think, for example, you have the core wound of I am not good enough. And then you have the dream job that you want to take the action to apply for the dream job. Consciously. You think, oh, that is a perfect job. And you may even have the skills. You may be a very highly qualified candidate. But then, since you think and you have this core wound of I am not good enough, your thoughts, when you see the job ad, even though you feel this excitement, are going to be like, why try? I'm not good enough. Everyone is so much better than me. I don't get a kind of job. Well, it was kind of similar to the unworthiness. But the I am not good enough core wound is more related to your skills. And maybe the emotions you're going to feel is that you feel, well, sadness and despair. And maybe you feel like, well, I'm just gonna stay stuck in this job that is underpaid and that I'm overqualified for my entire life. Because, well, I am not good enough. So you don't take the action to actually apply. And then someone else comes along who is far less qualified than you, but they don't have the core wound of I am not good enough. So they go on, they think, of course I'm gonna get this job. I'm fresh out of college. And it says 10 years of experience in the ad, but of course I'm going to do it anyhow. And then they somehow manage to convince the hiring manager and they actually get the job that you were much more qualified for. So you see how core wounds are really blocking us from reaching our dreams and living our full potential as humans. Because remember, we are here not to achieve things to show for others or to get things, physical things. We're here for experiencing life. And core wounds are blocking you from experiencing life at its fullest. That's why I'm so passionate about helping you to reprogram your core wounds. Because the good news is that, of course, you can reprogram your core wounds. Core wounds are created in childhood through 3 main components, which is the language of the subconscious mind. And that is, number 1, images. And that means situations that you are in or situations that you are seeing up close. For example, if you continuously was in a situation where people, maybe your parents or caregivers, other people close to you, they didn't listen to you and they just interrupted you and they made fun of you, maybe you felt like I don't matter or I am disrespected, which are 2 of the core wounds. Core wounds are also solidified through emotions. So the more emotional charge you felt in the situations, the stronger the core wound. And the 3rd component is repetition. So if it happened repeatedly over time, it is more likely to have formed a core wound than if it was a one-time experience. However, if it was a one-time experience with a high emotional charge, that can also have given you a core wound. So now we know the language of the subconscious mind and how core wounds are created. They are created through images, this beautiful little picture, emotions, and repetition. So this is how core wounds are programmed into your mind, which means that we can also reprogram them using these very three magical components. So subconscious reprogramming really builds on creating new images of the situations that you want to see instead, creating positive emotions around those images, and then repeat over time. And that is why maybe you've heard that it takes 21 days to form a new habit. It is because it takes 21 days to build new neural pathways in the brain. Because a core wound is nothing but a neural pathway in the brain that you are used to use. So you can think about it as a highway with a lot of traffic in your brain. When you stop believing in the core wound, then there will be less and less traffic. And that highway in your brain that was so active will turn into an abandoned road that are no longer in use. And instead, you will have created other highways with a lot of traffic, which are the highways of your empowering beliefs that will actually help you. Beliefs such that I am worthy, I am good enough, I am respected, people always respect me, and I matter, I am important. So that is really the core idea of subconscious reprogramming. It is to one, detect the core wounds in your subconscious mind. And how do we actually detect core wounds? Yeah, let's talk about that. So maybe you are self-aware enough to know, like, okay, these are my core wounds. I repeatedly feel unworthy. I feel uncomfortable receiving. That is a sign of unworthiness, by the way. Or it can also be a fear of abandonment because you feel like if I receive from people, then I will be a burden and I will be abandoned. And maybe you've had this immense fear of rejection, so you don't even take initiative and go out there and make new friends, or in dating situations, you just hold yourself back because that fear of rejection is so strong. So that is one thing. Maybe you are aware of them. You can see them in your behavior. You can see them in the distance between you and your dreams. That is where the core wound can be. It's not always about core wounds, but many times it is because you have core wounds. If you're here and your dream is up there, this is full of core wounds. It can be. Maybe, for example, you want to start a YouTube channel. That is your dream, but for some reason you keep putting it off. Well, chances are that there is a core wound standing in the way. So maybe it's the core wound that I am not good enough, I am not smart enough, which is really just a version of the I am not good enough. I am not pretty enough, I am not funny enough, I don't matter, no one's gonna listen to me, people are gonna find me annoying. Those are all limiting beliefs stemming from core wounds. But you see, there can be so many things, and I definitely have so many of them. Also, I run my YouTube channel, and I can tell you that it's perfectly possible to reprogram them. So that can be a way, like, look at what do you want, like what is your dreams, what does your soul crave right now, and why aren't you there yet? What is standing in your way? Like, what are those objections that your mind comes up with? Because remember, thoughts are just like little sprouts stemming from the core wounds. So we can observe our core wounds from our thoughts and also from the emotions you feel. For example, if you feel a lot of anxiety in dating situations, you may have the fear of abandonment. And it can be a little more tricky with emotions and know, like, okay, I feel sadness or I feel anger. What core wound is that exactly? It may be a little easier to see on the situations, to detect it on the situations that you avoid or the thoughts that you have. But observe your thoughts, your actions or lack thereof, and your emotions, and those can give you important clues to your core wounds. And I am also working with coaching clients in relationship coaching, and then we are looking at uncovering this together. And a specific situation where your core wounds often reveal themselves that I recommend that you look at is your triggers. When you feel triggered in a situation, when you got upset or you got angry or you felt offended in some way. Because of course, it's never nice if someone treats you bad. But if you don't have a core wound, it will be like someone is walking into you just lightly and you don't have a bruise. It's like, oh, that was annoying, but you just keep on walking. Versus if you have a broken arm and someone walks into you, it hurts a lot more. And it's the same with core wounds. If you have this emotional wound and someone pokes it, it will hurt a lot more. So that is also a very good reason to reprogram your core wounds, because then you won't have this extra layer of suffering in situations that trigger you. And a lot of your triggers will actually just disappear and you just laugh at them instead. So life will just feel so much easier without your core wound, on the other side of your core wounds. And you will have so much more energy to put into actual creation of the things you want, instead of getting angry at people or getting annoyed at people and maybe ruminating things for hours and days after they happened. Because that's what happened with core wound. They hijack your attention, and your attention is your most precious asset. It's not time, because time in itself can be useless if you don't use it intentionally. But core wounds take your attention. So that is why you have so much more power when you break free from the core wounds. And core wounds can also really sabotage in your relationships, because that's a situation in romantic relationships especially. We have a lot of stake, we have a lot of emotions, there is a lot of vulnerability and intimacy. So everything can feel magnified in romantic relationships as compared to in other types of relationships. So that's why in arguments, that's also a good place to spot core wounds. Like, what are you arguing with if you are in a relationship now, or what did you use to argue about when you were in past relationships? And if you want to spot core wounds in a partner or someone around you, also look at like, how is their language? Are they saying things like, for example, are they expressing some kind of fear of abandonment? Other core wounds are also, I am helpless, I am powerless. Are they using language like, there is nothing I can do, there is no idea, it's never gonna work anyhow, like that very defeated kind of language? That is a sign of active core wounds. Or maybe they're saying things like, I'm not good enough, I'm never good enough for you. Also signs of core wounds. So you can train yourself to spot in the language, okay, what core wound can this actually tie back to? And also in behaviors, lack of behaviors, like what is this person's fears? What are they afraid of? What are they actually avoiding? That maybe for you it's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal to walk up on stage and hold that speech or ask for a raise. But for this person, it's like they just avoid it like the plague. There may be a core wound behind that. So how can we actually heal core wounds? Well, we talked about the 3 components that program your subconscious and that you can also use actively to reprogram your subconscious, which is image, emotion, and repetition. So the thing you can do, if you look at this circle of life, which is actually the tools you have to manifest your reality. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and actions determine your reality. That is how you co-create. That is how you manifest. So on the belief level, if you have identified a core wound, for example, I am unworthy, the way that you reprogram is to look for proofs of the opposite, proofs that you are worthy. And you can do this in an exercise, a tool that is called autosuggestion. And that involves that you are looking for proofs every day for 21 days. And by proof, I mean a situation that you experience during the day that shows that the opposite of the core wound is true. Because in reality, you have the power to choose to feed into the core wound and look for proofs that you are unworthy, or to look for the opposite. Your mind will just confirm what you believe. That is how the mind works. So don't get hung up on like, but what is the objective reality? Am I worthy or not? Of course you're worthy as a soul, but how your mind will perceive your level of worthiness depends on what you choose to see. And the way you choose to see it in a more positive light and choose to see that you are worthy, in this example, is by looking at little proofs from the day that shows that you are worthy. Why proofs? And by proofs I mean memories, small situations where you felt worthy. Because situations and memories contain image, you were in the situation, and emotion, you felt something, you felt worthy. So then we have the image and emotion elements down. in the reprogramming process, and then the only missing part is the repetition. And that is why I want you to do this every day for 21 days. In the night, you look at a couple of situations where you felt worthy or where you felt the opposite of core wound. It can be good enough, where you felt powerful, where you felt included instead of abandoned or excluded. Wherever it might be for you, respected instead of disrespected. Okay, but the first step requires you to know what are actually my core wounds. And then you do this and reprogram your core wounds, your beliefs, every day for 21 days. And then you are gonna think differently. Over these days, you're gonna notice a massive difference. Your thoughts will change to be more positive because they are linked to the belief. Your emotions will be more positive, and then you will take whole new actions that correspond to the thoughts and the emotions. So that's amazing. And what you also can do is that you can reprogram at any level really, but you can reprogram also at the thought level by cognitive reframes. So that means that you monitor your thoughts. And when you find yourself falling into the old patterns that confirm the core wound, the limiting belief, you just choose a different thought. And in the beginning, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be challenging. But I don't want you to think this is not possible for me, it doesn't work for me. It's just old habits that you may have had your whole life of thinking in a certain way. So you need to be willing to lovingly bring yourself back to a more positive thought again and again and again. And then you will see that it actually feeds back so that your belief will shift. That neural pathway in your brain of the core wound will atrophy, and you will instead start to use a new one that is more powerful, more empowering. That says, for example, I'm worthy. You can also, it's a little harder, a little trickier maybe, to manipulate your emotions. And if you are in a lower state, to just put yourself in a positive state. Well, some people are very good at like visualizations, and you can feel the feelings of being worthy, for example. But I would say that it's quite complicated to only work on that part. But you can work on the actions and take actions that confirm your new empowering belief. So the opposite of the core wound. So for example, in the unworthiness case, if you were worthy, just play with this, don't be so hard on yourself, but just imagine with me, if you were worthy right now, if you felt worthy, because of course you are worthy, but your mind may not think so. If you felt worthy, what actions would you take in this very moment? And then, maybe that action feels really far away right now, and like, no, I could never do that right now. Then you chop it into little slices, little bread slices, and you take the first little slice. And you don't toast it and eat it, but you take the first little action. That will bring you in the direction of feeling worthy. Okay, so those are 3 ways that you can reprogram your subconscious mind. Because you see, the action also feeds back into the thoughts and the core wounds, the beliefs, and it will actually change your beliefs to be more positive. So those are the 3 ways in which you can heal your core wounds. At the belief level, you can do auto-suggestion, which reprograms your beliefs directly. On the thought level, you can do cognitive reframes, which will feed back into the beliefs and reprogram them indirectly. On the action level, you can do exposure reprogramming, or taking small actions in the right direction, which also feeds back and indirectly reprograms the limiting belief. Whew, that was a lot of information. But yeah, I'm just so passionate about you going out there living your dream life, because that is what is meant for you in this incarnation. But when you have the core wounds, you may feel like it's not possible. It's possible for anyone but me. But that is not the truth. Remember, your core wounds make the lens of your reality dirty. And when you reprogram your core wounds in one of the 3 ways that I suggested, you take this little rubber and you just clean the lens of your reality, of your manifestations, and they come out at a much higher vibration, and you will start to see incredible shifts in your reality and just mind-blowing quantum leaps. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments down below, and I will answer them. And if you like this video, hit the like button so that more humans can find this and reprogram their subconscious minds and just go out there and create their dreams, because together we rise. Subscribe for more videos like this. I am posting videos daily at the time of filming this video. I know, it's insane. That's just how passionate I am. And I'll see you in the next one.